Hey guys, so I just want to talk to you about something that I really enjoy doing, which is talking to conservatives who are anonymous on the internet. Now, I don't like talking to them when I know their names or I don't know their identities or where I can see their faces. It's a lot more fun talking to them when they're completely anonymous. And you might be thinking that's crazy because look at YouTube, right? YouTube comments is a freaking cesspool of like hate when people don't have any name attached to it, when they know they can post comments without any repercussions. It turns into a cesspool. But this actually also has lots of advantages, right? When people can make comments without any fear of repercussions, what happens is that they make real arguments. They make arguments that they actually believe, right? So you can address them. You can actually address the real reasons why they believe what they believe, right? And one way of thinking about this is, let's say, as a hypothetical example, you talk to someone face to face and they tell you Obama is a socialist, so I don't like him. And you respond with, well, Medicare is socialism. Does that mean you don't like Medicare? And he'll say, no, I like Medicare fine. And you'd be like, see, so you have no reason to hate Obama. And he'll say, okay, but he'll go away and he'll keep hating Obama. And the reason for that is it has anything to do with socialism. It's because Obama's black. But he's too afraid to say that where in public, right, where people can see him, where this making such an argument is taboo. So he'll continue to believe what he believes, and his mind will never be changed. That's why there's so many, in my opinion, there's so many racists that are still walking around, right? Nobody's talking to them, nobody's addressing them. They're living in their own little bubble where nobody can get to them because they're afraid to show themselves openly and people won't talk to them. They know it's taboo, they still think they're right, and they keep it hidden. But on the internet, when there's no repercussions for their comments, their actual reason comes out, right? Their actual racism comes out, and you can address it. You can show them studies, you can show them scientific studies. Even if you don't necessarily succeed, you might point them in the right direction, you might get them to realize their ignorance, you might get them to open their mind a little bit, whatever. Now, the thing is also that this method, right, of talking to people on the internet, one-on-one, anonymous people on the internet, is you develop arguments that can actually work and that can actually win, right? So now one of the things that really interests me, and you guys know me, I love science, I love the brain, I love psychology, right? One of the things that really interests me is, why do people believe what they believe, and why do they keep believing what they believe despite the fact that facts and evidence show the opposite, and what can actually change someone's mind, right? So I've been discussing with people, I've been throwing out different arguments, seeing why they believe certain things and what can actually change their minds, and what's the best way to change someone's mind, what's the best way to reach them, right, in order to open up their minds, right? And I found, and I've through this developed many arguments for specific subjects at work, that I've actually convinced several people, or at least moved them in the right direction, or gotten them to be a little bit more humble than they were, which I think is the first step of changing your mind, is to be humble enough to realize you could be wrong, right? So if I can get there, that's the first step. We're pushing them in the right direction. Now, I'll go into details with specific videos dealing with specific arguments from now on, in which I address what I say to them, which has proven to work on many occasions. But the underlying argument, which I'll share right now, is I'm giving them a situation where they have to choose between their crazy belief or reality. Now, the thing is, you'll never convince a creationist who's believed in creationism his whole life, that evolution is true, just by giving him evidence, right? No amount of evidence will matter, because for him, he has an emotional stake in creationism. He's been creationist his whole life. It's part of his identity, right? So he has a lot to lose by believing in evolution. But he has nothing to lose by believing creationism, because for him, evolution doesn't matter. So you gotta make him have a lot to lose by not believing in evolution, right? So what I do is I talk to them about how every single medical school teaches evolution, right? Every single scientist in every single university teaches evolution. That means that if you don't believe them, if you believe that all these scientists and medical and doctors are liars, you can't rely on them for medicine, right? So here, right there, I gave them something that they have a lot to lose. So now they will critically think about. Whereas before they dismiss it out of hand just for emotional reasons. Now they are more likely to critically think about why it is that they believe in creationism. and why they shouldn't be believing why they don't believe in evolution. So this is the underlying argument, which I make in different ways in order to get my point across. Now, one of the things also is that you might think that talking to anonymous people on the internet might be a horrible experience, right? But actually, it's given me a lot of hope in humanity. And that's because when you consider the fact that these are people, anonymous people, with nothing attached to them except they have nothing but their screen name attached to them, you can still get them to be more humble. I've done it tons of times where they realize that they're wrong, or they accept that they're wrong, or they're accepting that they're trolls and they're being mean, or whatever it is. I've gotten them to do it. And I've found that no matter how much of a troll he is, there's always that trendle of emotion that attaches him to that screen name, and you can get to it. You can really either hurt him if you really want to, or you can get him to feel humiliated, or you can get him to change his mind. Whatever it is that you need to do. So, and people have apologized to me for being complete jerks. Not that it affects me, right? That's one of the things is when you talk to these people, you have to make sure that this stuff doesn't affect you. You need to go in knowing who you are, your value as a human being, your value as a person. You need to, feel loved, and then you need to go in and do this, right? And if you can do that, then none of the words that they say will affect you, but you can affect them, right? None of the hateful words that they say can affect you. You can definitely affect them though. So, and in fact, the ability to affect someone on the internet when they're hundreds of miles away, when they have nothing but their name attached, right? I've been doing this for years now, has given me the ability to understand my friends and my family better, right? It's actually it made me a better person in real life because I can reach people when they're not really speaking to me. When I don't even know them, I don't know anything about them. I can still reach them on the internet, and I found that I can do that in real life even better than I ever could. And hopefully that'll make me a better doctor in the future. Make me a better son, will make me a better brother, make me a better friend, and all that. So I highly suggest um, that you guys join me in talking one to one. It's totally worth it in so many different ways. It can be a little bit painful sometimes because you have to really work through this. It wastes a lot of time. So I spend a little bit of time every few days where I talk to people on the internet. Especially on Politico, it's one of my favorite sites to go to, and I highly suggest it because there are lots of conservatives there, and none of your comments are censored, which is both of them are important, right? I don't like going to places where they're mostly liberals or mostly uh, atheists. I like going to places where I have a lot of minds to change, right? Because then they can't make stupid arguments. I'll go into all this later, how I convince people. But this is what I suggest. Go in a place where there's tons of conservatives, there's tons of minds to change, and they can't censor your comments, so it's not a waste of time. And you'll find it, I hope, fulfilling. And I'll make some videos about some of the conversations I've had. Now, as far as trolls go, as I've said, just know your value and don't let them affect you. And they have literally doesn't affect me. So like even in real life, like when somebody like says something mean to me, it doesn't affect me anymore. In real life, because I can handle on the internet. I know my true value now. As a human being. I think about the patients that I've helped or the children that I've helped when I teach. So when I think about all these things, these mundane insults don't mean anything. They're just a bunch of anonymous fools. So it doesn't mean anything to me. I just know that you have to deal with that. If it stresses you out, then I suggest you don't do it. But otherwise, I think it's a good thing to do. So I'll see you guys out there.